Ball Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourself a great morning this morning, as I am very happy to be here. Do you know why I'm happy to be here? Well, number one, and above all things, I'm happy to be alive, and I'm thankful that God woke me up this morning. I'm also happy to be here because today is my birthday. On October 21st, every single year, I get to celebrate my birthday. And today, I turn 37 young years of age. And I'm very excited to be here today. So, happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today. I know my religion teacher, Miss Flynn, Kim Kardashian. There's some people. I want to look up here. October 1st birthday. Let's see. Who else's birthday is it? Oh, I didn't know this. So, Doja Cat, it's also her birthday today. It's Kane Brown's birthday today. Wait a minute. Is it Carrie? Is it really Carrie Fisher? Oh, no. Wait. Maybe it is. October 21st. Yeah, Carrie Fisher. Would have been Carrie Fisher's birthday today. Amber Rose, Judge Judy. I got a cool birthday with these people. Hi. So, I'm just happy it was my birthday. I'm totally fine with that. Got no problems with that whatsoever. Look at this. Look at down the line here. Some really, really cool. I didn't know Carrie Fisher's birthday was the same birthday as mine. So, big shout out to all the awesome birthdays here. Love it. So, Kim Kardashian and Doja Cat. I knew about Kim Kardashian. I didn't know Doja Cat had the same. So, interesting, exciting, and happy birthday to everybody's birthday who's October 21st. So, and a big shout out to Carrie Fisher, our Princess Leia up in heaven. Happy birthday, Carrie. I did not know that this was your birthday. So really, really cool. Awesome and sweet. So welcome to Wake Up Call. We're so happy that you're here with us on a beautiful, wonderful, as my mom told me this morning when she called me. She calls me every morning and sings, or every birthday morning she calls me and sings to me for my birthday because I have the coolest mom ever. So thank you, Mom, for that. She called me today and sang me a little song, told me that it was cold and very sunny on my birthday. So today is, cold and it's sunny. So she said it was like today that I had you. So very, very cool. Happy to be here on my birthday, celebrating with you on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, / Wake Up Call DT. I'm very happy to be here with you on facebook.com / live now DT and on wakeupcalldt.com as well. So however you're tuning into the show, thank you so much for being here where sports meets that thing called life. Can't thank you enough for being a part of the broadcast on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. So much appreciation for you connecting with us where sports meets that thing called life. And I am so happy this morning. We have so much ready for you today, and I'm ecstatic. I really am. This is going to be a great birthday show. And honestly, folks, last night I was sitting here thinking to myself, I'm gonna be, I was like, I'm 20 or 29. I keep thinking that I'm in my 20s still. It's in my brain. But I was laying in bed last night saying, I'm 36 for just a few more hours, like how do I want to spend them? And I just, I turned on, I'm everybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge Marvel fan. So I turned on, I haven't watched a Marvel movie in a while, like gone back and watched one of the ones I'd seen. So I put on Avengers Endgame, Avengers 4, for those of you playing the home game. And I put that on. And I was just kind of laying there with Lily, just kind of thinking and talking to God and reminiscing and, wanting to be a better me moving forward and all of that. And just having the time to just kind of sit there and say, I've been blessed so very much. And I'm so thankful for the blessings that I have. And, I could do so much better with the life that God's given me. So I'm going to keep doing it, going to keep working on it, going to keep getting better. And, because God has entrusted me with a beautiful life, and I want to give all that I can to the big guy for that. So I will. So, and I'm also wearing my Devil Dogs shirt, which this is my ode to the hockey season. So I'm wearing my Devil Dogs hockey Disney jersey. This is an insane jersey. It should be. It was expensive. So it's got devil dogs on it. It's got Pluto on it. It's got Pluto here with the devil dogs. And on the back, it's really sweet if you can see it. Let me see if I can spin around here without knocking off every wire we have. So you could see Pluto K9. Hopefully you could see that. So yeah, very excited and wanted to break it out. I've had it for a really long time, but I don't think I've ever worn it on the show. I might have worn it one other time, but it's here for you today. I wanted to break it out today. So happy morning. Welcome into the Cafe Kubal Studios. Fill your cup up right today. They have a new menu at all of their locations, so go and try the new menu today. Go taste the new menu today, and you'll find that on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. You also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners for their drive-thru location, and you will find at Carvel DeWitt on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building, which you cannot miss. I call it the Manlius Welcome Center because it's where all roads converge into Manlius. So make sure you get out there today and support local. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you, and I appreciate the love. So very excited to have this show jumping off for you today inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to be discussing a lot of great things here today. As you know, we have our trio of signature segments on Fridays with the Annoying Moment of the Week, starting things off, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today we're focusing on the topic of this moment is only here one time. This moment, this exact moment, is only here once. See, it's gone. So we got to spend it wisely. We'll talk about that. We'll also get into the top dog of the week. I'll be announcing who my top dog is, proudly presented by K9 Kamp, Dog Daycare, and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. My dude, Alex Dodd, a longtime reporter and writer who has spent many, many years covering Clemson, is going to talk about Syracuse at Clemson with me around 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. And then Witty Wicks and I are going to be unveiling an all-new segment that you will not want to miss by any stretch of the imagination. It's called Aubry and DT Get Witty. Aubry, the owner of Witty Wicks, myself, Dan Tortora, and it's Aubry and DT Get Witty. And what that means is, obviously, she has comedy, I have comedy. Witty Wicks is the place that we're promoting and the products within it while having fun, making you smile and hopefully laugh this morning. So, Aubry and DT Get Witty, that video premieres. The inaugural video of our series premieres this morning. So, you'll see that at the end of the show. Around 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time, you'll see it at the tail end of the broadcast. So make sure you stay tuned to that, as we have a lot of great things coming up here on the show. So with that being said, let's hop right into the annoying moment of the week. You know it as AMOW, and if you have an annoying moment, write it in on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /wakeupcalldt. If you have an annoying moment, I want to know what it is this week. Send it off to us, and we'd be happy to share. Thanks.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you... Is that for real? Are you kidding me? The annoying moment of the week. I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this. Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like. You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week. Oh, folks, where could I go with this? There's so many places I can go with the annoying moment of the week. Where will I go? How will I take it? What will I say? What will I say? It's my birthday edition. What do I want to say is the annoying moment of the week? I would say the annoying moment of the week, you know what? Because this is the center of everything that I am. My annoying moment of the week, and I tell people this all the time, you can believe in whatever you want to believe in or not believe in whatever you want to believe in. Nobody on this show is going to tell you what to believe in or how to believe. I'm not gonna. So I believe in God. I never tell you that you have to, right? I don't know how people do life without it. I don't know where they're planning to go after they live here, but I don't tell people what to do, right? But my annoying moment of the week is that we live in a country right now that tells you what to do. Now, I have always appreciated that in the world, that in the country that we live in, we can be who we want to be and do what we want to do. But in this country lately, you kind of can't. Now you kind of can't, but it's kind of frowned upon to believe in God. Or it's not something that you want to put in the public. So I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of it already. Listen, I am a big fan of people be who you want to be. As long as you're kind and compassionate and good, be who you want to be. Yeah, that is my stipulation. You got to be a good person, okay? It's not just, be who you want to be and you could be an evil, horrible person. No, you got to be a good person. But my annoying moment of the week is I live in a country now where, can I talk about God? Am I allowed to talk about God? Is it okay to talk about God? And that's annoying to me, right? It's very annoying to me because I know what to believe. I don't tell them what they have to focus in on and yada, yada, yada. But the fact that there's people in this world that want to try and tell me what I have to believe or what I can talk about or what I can do or what I can say or what I can't say. You know, I was talking to one of my buddies about being single and dating, and he goes, you know, I don't know. Basically, I don't know if you really want to tell women that, you know, you talk about your faith in God, right? And it's like, do you really want to tell people that? Or, I mean, do you really think that there's any women that still believe? And to me, that's a horrible, horrible thing. I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than stop believing in God. I would rather live in a freaking bunker with Lily than be in a mansion and say I don't believe in God, because I do. And it's my annoying moment of the week because it's allowed to be. It's my show. And I'm so frustrated that we live in a country now that wants to push it down, that wants to tell us what to do and what we have to do, and you have to accept. This is the thing. We live in a country right now that tells us who to accept, but it's only a group of people. It's literally the reversal of what it was before. It was like, you can't accept these people, but you have to accept these people. And now it's, you have to accept these people, but you can't accept these people. All we've done is switch out who's discriminated against. That's all this country's done. By pushing and pushing and pushing that you have to love these people and you have to appreciate these people, you have to respect these people, and these people are the best, you're throwing these people in the trash. Which, years ago, the people that you're telling everybody to respect now were not respected years ago, and you threw them in the trash. And in reality, God doesn't throw anybody in the trash. So you can't throw anybody in the trash. Okay? There's no religion that can say, we're the only religion, we're the best religion, everybody else sucks. There's no race that can say it. There's no language that can say it. There's no sexual gender or orientation that can say it. We are all equal. We were created by God for the same purpose, right? We were created by God to be the best that we could be, to find our way back home. We were created by God in his image and likeness. Why do people have to tell me what I can and cannot do, or anybody what they can and cannot do? The longer I've been alive, the more God has been stricken from the record, taken out. We're going to take God off the money. We're going to take God off this. We're going to take God off that. And look at the world. Look at the country. Every time you take God out of something, this country gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Look at the last 10 years. Taking God out, taking God out, taking God out. The last 20 years, there's been more mass shootings. There's been more issues in schools. There's been more racism. There's been more prejudice. There's been more sexism. There's been more hate. There's been more violence. There's been more things shared on social media. What is life without a parent? What is a world without God? And it's not like, oh, Dan, so you believe in God because you have to believe in something to sleep at night? No, I believe in God because God is real and God exists. You want to know how I know? Because he made me. I didn't make me. I didn't just mysteriously come out here. Well, your parents made you. Well, who made my parents? Well, their parents made them. Okay, so let's all go all the way back to the beginning. Who made my first ancestors? They just made themselves. They just were created out of thin air and started a family bloodline? Who figured out languages? Who figured out where people were supposed to be? Why do people believe that this all happened by accident. This all happened by chance. By perfect chance, this happened. Human beings created themselves perfectly, even though human beings aren't perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. So, teach God in schools. Teach God in sporting events. Teach God in your workplace. You want to know why? Because there is one. And if you're the one that didn't believe, when God finally comes back, that's not going to be a fun day for you. That's not going to be a good day for you. That's not going to be a day where you're going to want to go out and be like, hi. You're going to be like, no. So I'm, you know, it's not that I keep my mouth shut about this ever, but on my birthday, I'm celebrating a God that made me 37 years ago. I'm celebrating a God that allowed my parents to have children. I'm celebrating a God that brought me to life. And I celebrate every life out there. Every unborn life and every born life. I believe every child deserves a home. And I believe a woman has the right to do her and live her life. And I would just really pray that trade an A for an A. Don't abort it. Adopt. Don't abort your baby. Put your baby up for adoption. There are so many people that can't have children that want to have children. If you don't want your child, put them up for adoption. There's no reason why a life should be aborted. And I know that that is such a hot button issue right now. And why is it a hot button issue right now? Because the government is making it a hot button issue. Because they want you to focus on it so they can continue to raise your grocery prices and continue to mess with your gas prices and continue to exploit you. They're bending you over, shoving something up your you-know-what while you're focusing on something else on the TV. That's all this is. Abortion's been a hot button issue since it became a hot button issue decades ago. But it's a hot button issue right now because the government wants you to focus on something else other than what they're doing to you and to your family. And that's reality. Okay? I'm not here to talk in fake hoods. Anybody with a set of eyes and a set of ears and a brain between those ears can see that this government is not for the people. They're not by the people. They are for themselves. They're not human. And I'm sure there's some good people in there. But sometimes I wish I knew where the hell they were. So, yeah, I am sitting here this morning saying, put your baby up for adoption. I'm not a fan of rape. I'm not a fan of incest. I know those are the extremes. But there's also the people that just want to have a whole lot of fun in the bedroom. That have no responsibility. There's a whole lot of people out there that do it for the wrong reasons. There's a whole lot of people out there that do it because they're selfish. So you can't make a blanket policy and say it's totally fine for everybody to do it. And am I one of the only people out there that's thinking about the baby? Is it a sin to think about the woman and the baby? Right? If you're on the left hand, you think about the woman. If you're on the right, you think about the baby. Who thinks about both? God. How about this? If the woman that was deciding whether or not to have an abortion was aborted by her parents, she wouldn't have the decision. So the decision was never really hers in the first place. It was her parents. So to me, it breaks my heart that we live in a society now where I can't say that I would rather a baby be adopted than aborted. Because, oh, Dane, you're going to get canceled. Why? Oh, you hate women. I don't hate women. I was raised by great women. I was born and raised by a fantastic mother. And an extension of that, a fantastic grandmother. And then my other grandmother, a fantastic, she loved me with everything she could. My grandmothers were totally different, polar opposites. But they both loved me to pieces and left me with great memories. And I love them both dearly. And I love my mom dearly. And I love my other mom, Miss Mary. And I love the Lories of the world. And I love the baby Donnas of the world. I'm a very blessed person who's had very great mothers. But if my mom decided she didn't want me, then there wouldn't be a wake-up call. I wouldn't have touched the lives I've touched if my mom gave up on me before I even had a chance. So if I'm going to sit here this morning and I'm going to be an honest person on my birthday, on the day I was born, then can I take a step aside here and say to you, on the day that I'm recognizing and appreciating my birth, that there's many children that will never be able to have a 37th birthday like me today, or any birthday, because somebody said, screw that, I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it. Well, Dan, what if it comes down to the ones where the mom can die or the baby could die? That's surgery. I consider that surgery, not abortion. That's surgery to me. Okay? That's a different, and again, hopefully a very rare case. We're talking about human life. On my birthday, I want to talk about God. On my birthday, I want to talk about how I would sit down with every single woman and hear all of their stories and cry with them and say, please, just have this baby. Have this baby. And let someone else take care of them. Let someone else love them. If you don't want to be their mother for the rest of their life, be their mother for 9 months. Be their mother for less than a year. Be their mother once and you never have to do it again. Okay? But do one thing for this child. Because they deserve to be here. We lost over 1 million people during COVID. You know what Mother Teresa said one time? Apparently, she got asked a question when Bill Clinton was running for office. Hillary went up to her and said, Mother, why do you think we haven't had a female president yet? And Mother Teresa leaned in and whispered in Hillary's ear, she was probably aborted. You know, you think about that. Maybe God sent someone who had a cure for cancer. Maybe God sent someone who would have had a cure for COVID. Maybe God sent somebody who would have been a better president than the many of them that we've had recently. Maybe God sent the person that you were supposed to marry. You realize when these babies are just negated, people are like, oh, well, they were never going to matter. How do you know? You don't know their trajectory. It's like saying somebody who was murdered at 25 years old was going nowhere with their life. How do you know? It's like saying somebody who was killed in a car accident at 43 was going nowhere with. How do you know? How do you know? You just know what people tell you to know. How do you know? What if your wife was aborted? What if your kids were aborted? What if your wife was like, screw you, I don't care, I'm doing it? What if the person that gave you your first break was aborted? What if your favorite singer was aborted? What if your favorite actor was aborted? What if that person that kept you from killing yourself was aborted? We talk smack all the time. We talkity talk, but we don't listen. We talk, but we don't listen. And we talk, but we don't educate ourselves. I can't sit here on my birthday and say that every murdered baby, because that's what abortion is murder. Read it up. Look at how they have to kill a child. If it was not a living thing, why do you have to kill it? If a baby wasn't alive, why would you have to stop its heartbeat? And we call any other stopping of the heartbeat murder, do we not? So this is murder. So when you murder a child, how can I not talk about it today? How can I not talk about it today? What if my mom said, I don't want to have a kid right now. I'm 30. I want to live my life. Then there's no Dan Tortora. If my mother was a selfish person, there was no me. If my mother said, I don't want this baby, think about it. Shamarko Thomas told me this week that I saved his life. If my mother killed me, I would have never saved Shamarko. So don't tell me that babies don't have purposes, and don't tell me that unborn babies don't have purposes. And don't tell a man who's 37 years old, who is single, who has always wanted to be a father, that babies have no purpose. Because I've wanted a baby my whole life. The right way. In a marriage. And I'm grateful that I didn't have a baby with any of my exes, because I would have been a Saturday dad, and I don't want to be a Saturday dad. And I commend all the dads that fight through that, because I would never, ever want to do that. So I'm not here to be somber and to be down. I'm here to say, how can I look up at the God that I love and keep my mouth shut? I've opened my mouth on supporting the African American community. I've opened my mouth on supporting, people of different sexual orientations. I've opened my mouth on supporting people of different religions. So how can I sit here today and say, you know what? I'm cool with murdering babies. That's fine. Because my mother could have let me go. My mom could have ended my life. And all of us that have an opinion about killing a baby are all alive to have that opinion. Imagine all the babies that aren't alive to have that opinion. And maybe some of them would agree with you, and maybe some of them wouldn't. But all I know about life is it is a treasure, it is a blessing. And you're talking to a man who was almost hit and potentially killed by somebody a couple weeks ago, who didn't care about their life or anybody around them. And if they did, they didn't show it. So when you stare death in the face a few times, and then you're 37 years old and you're sitting here, I'm not going to be like the rest of the country of people that are afraid to speak up. I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want people to not like me. You know what? If you don't like me because I want every child to have a home, then screw you. Screw you. Seriously. If you don't like me because I'm looking out for every single child, then kiss it. What my grandma say, piss on them. So I don't have it in me, and I'm not just trying to spread anger to you. I'm just trying to say, let a person be a person, okay? I sit with people talk about abortion all the time. I sit with people talk about they don't like God all the time. I'm around people all the time that don't agree with me, and I sit with them. So sit with me. Sit with me, and God forbid I help you make a better choice. God forbid I help you make a better life. Because in today's world, people will take any sin that they commit, and they will talk their way out of it. Well, there's no God, so I can murder. Well, there's no God, so I can cheat on my wife. My wife cheats on me. Who cares? The things that people want me to be okay with today are things that were never okay. And they aren't okay now. But society has told you, do you. And when they said do you, that included murder. Because, oh, well, yeah, he murdered somebody, but he had a good reason for it. He cheated on his wife, but he had a good reason for it. Oh, she slept with his brother, and then she stole from him, but she had a good reason for it because he was rude to her, and he told her to cook on Saturday. People have an excuse for every sin they commit. They have an excuse for every sin they commit. But how about, remember that time, remember that world, remember that moment in history where we weren't supposed to do bad things to people? Remember that moment where we weren't supposed to live our life in a shameful way? Remember when we were supposed to care about each other? Do you remember that day? So yeah, today's my birthday. October 21st. I'm 37 years old. And I will never tell a woman what to do with her body. And I will never tell a woman what to do with her life. And I will never tell a man what to do with their body and what to do with their life. I will make suggestions, but I'm sick and tired of this. You're a man. You're not allowed to talk about. Yes, I am. Because women talk about men all the dang time. And women have thoughts about men all the dang time. And I've dated women that disrespect the hell out of men. So I don't want to hear that the men are the problem. Bad people are the problem. Good people are not the problem. But when you tell us to shut our mouths, we need to speak up. Because good people, we need to open our mouths. That's what we need to start doing. Good people need to start saying how we feel. Because we don't. And this world is getting uglier and uglier by the day. And I'm not going to sit here on my birthday and pretend like this country isn't a disgusting, tortured, mangled, view of what I thought we were supposed to be. We are better than this. We are better than this. Politicians should be ashamed of themselves that they use horrible things, horrible acts, horrible things in society to help themselves, to position themselves. And they say horrible things about each other. Well, this person's racist. And you know what people say the next day? Well, I guess they are. Do your research. Are they? Do you know them? Remember what they said before? If you had nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Remember when people told you when your hopeful parents raised you that you don't make judgments about people, that he who hath no sin cast the first stone. Well, every single one of us has a sin. So where is that stone being cast? And who is casting it? Good people need to speak up. We need to talk. We need to dialogue, and we need to dialogue publicly. I have stood up for the rights of so many. But who's sitting here standing up for the rights of those kids? Who's standing up here standing up for the rights of a man who is a man in today's society? You know what I was told by a trooper? He said, you're a man in the 21st century. Blank is effed up. That's what he said to me. He said, I'm sorry. I had a trooper apologize to me for being a man in the 21st century. Because what a woman can do to a man if she wants to. In today's world. And back in the day, okay, maybe it was reversed. But it shouldn't be either way. I respect women. But I will not stand for a woman disrespecting me. I respect men. But I will not stand for a man disrespecting me. I do not put people into groups. I've dated Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, English, Dutch, Welsh, Italian, Egyptian, African, so on and so forth. I don't put people into groups. I've seen people of different sexual orientations, and I don't put them into groups. I've been friends with people that have all different types of money, and I don't put them into groups. I'm the last person on this planet that's going to be racist, prejudiced, or sexist. But I'm going to stick up for every baby. And I'm going to stick up for every mom. And I hope to God that no one has to decide between their wife, their girlfriend, their fiance, and a baby. That no one has to sit in an operating room saying, well, we can save one of them. Which one would you like? But beyond that, have the baby and give it a home. You don't want to take care of the baby? Let somebody else. Because, oh, Dan, you need to stand up for abortion. Abortion's cool. Abortion's great. Abortion's 21st century rad. You know how many friends I know that lost their first baby and how that tortured them? They're still in pain today, almost a decade later. Because their baby died. Not because of an abortion. Because the baby died. Because the baby was a preemie. Because they had a miscarriage. And I have a friend who fought for years upon years upon years upon years upon years to have a child. And you read her messages and you could feel her crying. And I'm also the proud older brother. And I know they're my cousins. But I am the proud older brother. Because they're more to me than cousins. I am the proud older brother of 2 adopted children. I am the proud older brother of 2 adopted children. From Peru and from Guatemala. And I love you, Nico, and I love you, Miguel. And your card that you got me for my birthday years ago is one of the things that sits in my studio every single day. These are my messages. Happy birthday, Dan. I hope you have a super day. I hope you know what a truly special person you are. You are kind and good You are kind and put others before yourself. I am honestly proud to call you big brother because you are even closer than a cousin to me. Hope all is well. Love, Miguel. Happy birthday, big brother. I love you very much, and I can't wait to see you for Christmas. God has put you on this earth to make it a better place. Love, Nico. Put the baby up for adoption. Because who knows, the way that I'm going, I'm 37 years old and I'm single, I might be adopting someday. So don't abort that baby. If you don't want it, I do. So, to all the beautiful, wonderful people out there, to all the women out there, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm suggesting that you put the baby up for adoption. To all the babies out there, I've always thought I'm a voice to the voiceless, and you have no voice in these situations at all. So I'm trying to speak for you and for my love for you. There is no one on this planet whose life is more important than another. That's why I can't stand for abortion, and I can't stand for murder, and I can't stand for any type of ending of a life. Prematurely, I can't. Because if I believe in God, I can't be like, well, this murder's okay, but that one's not. I don't think you can shoot somebody in a gang war, but you can abort a baby. I got to be a voice to the voiceless, and I hope you can respect that. We'll take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back, we'll bring you Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. This has been the Annoying Moment of the Week. Proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like.
Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvel. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Sending you my love every single day and appreciate the life that I've been given here on my birthday on Friday, October 21st. Can't believe that it is my birthday today. I really can't. So it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, I'm like, oh wow, it's a year away. And then I'm like, oh, it's a few months away. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, it's this week. So it's how quick it happens. But we talk about in that, what I just alluded to was what? Moments, right? Moments go by. They go by quickly sometimes. And I always pray to God every single day that life is long, fun, and goes by slowly. And, you know, because you never want life to tick, 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 tick away. And I know that there's moments, right, where we're like, oh man, I wish I could get out of this moment. Watch the movie Click. Watch the movie Click. And ask yourself after that movie if you'd want to speed through moments again. If you did, well, I probably don't want to be your friend after you watch Click. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm totally cool with it. So, but yeah, I mean, Click was a very eye-opening movie. I know there's some people that are fans of Adam Sandler, and I know there's some people that are not, but it was a very, very eye-opening movie that had a fantastic message. And the message was to appreciate the time that you have and to make the most of the time that you have, because that time is precious and that time is extremely important, you know, and that, you know, even in those moments where you don't want to live this and you don't want to live that and you don't want to go through this and you don't want to go through that, that it's important to live in those moments, right? Live in the moment where you're getting broken up with. Live in the moment where you're not getting that job. Live in the moment where, you know, you have that paper cut, right? There's some people that would say, I'd love to speed my life through every paper cut. I love to speed my life through every bad relationship to the good one. But then you don't learn anything. Then you go on autopilot. So, you know, I didn't think I would say this when I created the topic this morning, but Click really is the best movie to parallel what I'm talking about today. So maybe your homework for later is to go home and watch the movie Click and tell me what you see, as I'd love to get your thoughts on it. It is a very, very real thing here, that this moment is a moment that is only here once, and we have to make the most of this moment. This moment is only here one time. You know, I'm only going to be 37. I'm only going to turn 37 at 8:37 a.m. one time. Right? And those moments, they come to you like when I'm on a ride and I'm thinking about something and I'm like, oh man, my ex-girlfriend, and I'm like, Dan, be on the ride. You've thought about this ride for days. Now you're here and you're thinking about something else. No. I'm guilty of it. And so I'm calling myself out and calling you out with me, saying we need to appreciate the moments we're in, because we're in a moment complaining about another moment, thinking about another moment, then we go back to that moment, then we go to the... It's the reality of when you go into a restaurant and you see a person with a friend texting somebody else and not talking to that friend. Then they go hang out with the friend that they were texting, and they text the friend that they were just with, having dinner with, that they weren't paying attention to. You have to be present in the moment. You have to be there, because every moment only happens one time. And if you know that every moment only happens one time, then hopefully it would make you appreciate your moments a little bit more. Because it's important and it's imperative for you to appreciate the moments that you have. Because once they're gone completely. Those moments aren't coming back. Those moments aren't going to spin back around and find you. When those moments are gone, those moments are gone. And that's it. So what are you going to do to celebrate your life? What are you going to do to celebrate your moments? How are you going to make today count right now in this moment? Because once it's gone, it's completely gone. If I didn't live in the moment at New York Comic Con, 3 minutes with one person wouldn't have changed my life. If I didn't live in the moment when I was at New York Comic Con, I wouldn't have potentially made an impression on somebody that most people would think is above them. If I didn't live in the moment when I was at New York Comic Con, I wouldn't talk to one of my favorite heroes and tell him exactly how I feel about his work. If I didn't live in the moment after I almost got hit by that car, I wouldn't have cried and appreciated and valued my life and let go of things that I needed to let go of. In that moment, saying, it was funny, that morning I said to God, I need to let go of these things I'm still holding on to. And then that happened, and I said, I'm letting go of these things that I'm holding on to. We get caught in a funk. It becomes easy to complain. It becomes easy to be down. It becomes easy to gossip. It becomes easy to have drama. Right? You have to fight through it. You have to live in the moment. Well, Dan, I don't have to do anything. Oh, yeah. Maybe to you, you don't. But when your life is over, most people, I would imagine most people lay on their deathbed saying, I wish I. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Should have asked that girl out. Should have went for that job. Should have chased my dreams. Should have told my son I loved him. Should have went over here more. Should have hung out. Should have called my mom more. Shoulda. I don't want to shoulda. I don't want to be on my deathbed. I want to be on my deathbed going, God, till my last breath, I give it all to you. And there's times where I've sinned and there's times where I haven't been perfect. And I didn't give it all to him. And I was wrong. And I've apologized. I'm not a perfect person. Go out there, you swear, might call somebody a name, might do something, might be rude to yourself, might disrespect, might make a promise, not keep it. You get down on your knees, you ask for forgiveness. And God is an endless well, but shouldn't be treated as such. God is a well that will love you forever, but you got to treat God like you'd want somebody to treat you. Would you want somebody to sin against you over and over and over and over again and then say, oh, I didn't mean it, it's all good? Would you want to date somebody that constantly cheated on you and told you every time they did it that they weren't going to do it anymore? No. But we do that to God all the time. Hey, God, sorry I hurt you. Not going to do it again. And you do it 5 minutes later. We got to be better. I got to be better. We all have to be better. I don't come here this morning without a bruise or a bump or a scar. I come here this morning saying I'm not a perfect human being, but I could have done a lot better. And I'm going to do a lot better. Because I don't want the God that made me to be disappointed in me. And I don't want to let down the most important thing that I know, which is God. And I tell people all the time, you listen to the show, you don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in God to listen to this show, but you do not have the right to tell me not to. It's amazing how we live in a society where people want you to tell them what they do is okay, but then they tell you that what you do is not okay. You can't ask for what you're not willing to give. So if you can't appreciate somebody for being different than you, then you need to shut your mouth. Because your opinion doesn't matter. It's become null and void. If you don't respect other people, don't ask for respect. If you can't understand people are different than you, then don't get involved in conversation. If you don't understand that this world is not going to always agree with you, you need to start paying attention. I'm surrounded by people that love me, and a lot of people, we have the same views. And I'm also friends with people that don't have the same views. And I respected them. But some of them are not a part of my life anymore. Not because I didn't want them there, but because they didn't respect me. And as much as I took in all of their stuff that was different, even if I thought it was crazy, they had genuinely no respect for me. One of my closest friends, somebody I call my best friend, wanted to push all of his beliefs on me, but I couldn't dare believe something he didn't believe in front of him without being challenged, questioned, and verbally beaten. And he might as well have just been there throwing stones at Jesus when Jesus was walking with his cross. Because I got to a point where even if he saw perfection, he still wasn't going to see perfection. He was going to find something wrong with it. And that's a troubled soul, and I pray and I hope that he gets better. Because there's something broken inside of him that nobody can fix but him. And God. If he believes. And hopefully he does, because God is going to be there no matter what, but you got to be there too. I'm not shutting up about God. And I never will. Because this moment only happens once. And if I got hit by that car and I went up to heaven and God said, why are you so afraid to talk about me? You care more about your listenership than you do me. You care more about your money than you do me. You care more about how far you can go in your career than you do me. And what am I supposed to say? Yes? Am I supposed to sit here and say yes? I never want God to come to me and say, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You didn't do what you promised. There's a lot of people that don't believe in God because God didn't do what he was supposed to do. He didn't give them what they wanted, when they wanted it, how they wanted it. I don't believe in God because I wanted to date this girl in high school and she didn't want to date me. She thought I had cooties. I don't believe in God because somebody died that I loved. I don't believe in God because I didn't make $1 million when I asked him for it. If God was real, that's what people say all the time. If God was real. Well, I do what I love and I love what I do. I make enough money to do it. I make more than enough money to do it. I have a beautiful house. I have a wonderful dog who literally is a human being to me. Loves me as a daughter loves her father, and that's why she is my daughter. I don't care what anybody says because none of your opinions matter to me. Because no one knows her soul like I do, and I am so grateful that she shared her soul with me. I have had at least 3 instances in my life where I could have died and I didn't. There was times where I wanted to end my life and I didn't. I get to be a big kid and go to Disney all the time. We're going, and every time I go, I remind myself, if this is the first time and only time I ever went, I want you to treat it like that. And I want you to enjoy it like that. I'm not like, oh, I've been all these times, blah, 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 I'm famous. No. I go every time like, oh my God, this is the first time, this is so great. Like, that's how I want it to be. I'm like, oh my God, I get to ride Guardians of the Galaxy. I wanted to ride it so bad, and then I've ridden it now. I don't even know. 8 times, 10 times, 12 times, something like that. And I don't remember the number. You want to know why? Because every time I ride it, I want to feel it for the first time. So you got to live in the moment. If God didn't exist, none of these things would be in my life. If God didn't exist, I wouldn't have been here. I would have ended my life. God's the reason why I'm here. I tell people all the time, you want to know if God exists? Spend 5 minutes with me. Some people say they want to know, but they don't want to know. And I know. I know. I know in ways you wouldn't even imagine. And that is why I know that we have to live every moment. Because not living every moment, not enjoying the time that you have, it will bite you in the tush. Those people that get away with murder, you go, oh my God, Dan, these people can do whatever they want. It always catches up with you. And again, I will never wish bad on a human being. I will never wish bad on anything, a plant. I will never wish bad on anybody ever. And if I've ever, and I'd said to God, if I've ever sounded that way, I don't mean it. I've never meant it, and I take it back. There is nothing inside of me that ever wishes bad on anybody else. When I tell you, you get what you give, that's not me wishing bad on you. That's not me hoping bad on you. That's me telling you real. You eventually get what you give. Because I know that this world has a way that if you're a good person, it will find you. And if you're not a good person, it will find you. Because I believe in God and I believe in justice. And sometimes justice is not served in the courtroom. Sometimes you never know that justice is served. But God speaks to that person in the middle of the night and says, hey, guess what? I saw what you did. Right? The telltale heart. Oh, I got away with murder. Did you, though? put it to you like this. Dan, how do you know that what goes around comes around? How about you be a good person and never find out? I mean, what goes around comes around in a good way, too, so you find that out. Well, Dan, I see bad people. You know what, Dan? I shouldn't be a good person anymore because I see bad people all the time get away with it. So I should be a bad person, too, Dan, because bad people get away with it. So I should be a bad person. Because what does it matter? It always matters. And it always comes down to whatever you do comes back to you. I don't worry about what my ex-girlfriend did to me because I'm healing from it. But if she thinks that that's okay, all I'm saying is I don't feel bad for people. You know what I mean? Like, I empathize with people. But if she called me up and said, Dan, somebody cheated on me after I cheated on you, I would go, what'd you expect? What'd you expect? It's not that I don't care. It's that if you don't repent and become a better person, don't be surprised. And don't complain when it comes back. Well, Dan, being a good person hasn't worked out for me yet. Yeah, it has. You're alive. You got people that love you. Start looking at your blessings and start living in the moment. Because moments are fleeting. And moments will always end. How are you going to spend this trip around the clock? I hope you spend it well. I hope you believe in something greater than you. Whatever your religion is, I hope you know there's one God that loves all people and all religions because he made us all on purpose. This moment is only here once, and I love you dearly. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, I'll announce my top dog of the week. Proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Big shout out to Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver weekly segment bringing positivity to your doorstep. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And, of course, bringing you today the beautiful topic of this moment only being here once. We'll be back right after this inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life. That's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourself a fantastic morning this morning, and we are, as I said, inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, as well as, and those are all in Syracuse, as well as 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-thru location of North Syracuse. They all have a new menu at all of these locations, so go out and check out the new menu at Cafe Kubal today and support local. And of course, if you're out there today, make sure you try a pumpkin spice chai, because that is my favorite. So I'd love to know what you think about their pumpkin spiced chai. So go out and try those today and have a great time. They have amazing coffees as well as their chais and their teas, and everything that they offer is so great at Cafe Kubal. So make sure you go and hang out with them and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you their way. Thank you for supporting Central and Upstate New York, and as always, thank you for supporting local and small business as well. With that being said, speaking of local and small business, it's time to shout out another grouping of them. That's Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, the fantastic people of East Syracuse that should be taking care of your dog every single time you need some daycare, as well as you got to maybe put the dog up for a few days, find him a nice little hotel. Well, this is the place to do it. There might be a lot of imitators and duplicators, but nobody is Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. They are of one of a kind, truly of themselves, and I appreciate them so much, led by Lorraine and her incredible team. Shout out to Chad, shout out to Heather and everybody there. You've done an amazing job. You've taken care of Lily in such a wonderful way that I don't even worry, and I don't fret about my little girl. So thank you for all that you've done, and I implore you all, folks, whether you have a puppy or a dog that's older, whatever type of breed you have, go to Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. The daycare, you can call them at 315-437-7110 for more information. That's 315-437-7110. You can call the Kampground Dog Boarding at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. And with that being said, they proudly bring you the top dog of the week.
Well, obviously, not how you want to move forward coming out of this one, and it was low scoring.
My top dog of the week here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is going to be something that is near and dear to me, and I guess I would say my top dog of the week is my squad. My top dog starts with God. My top dog of every moment of my life. My top dog are my parents. My top dogs are my grandparents up in heaven. My top dogs are my true friends. The people that never turn their back on me. And the people that never did anything to me for me to say, you know what, it's time to walk away. My true friends. My top dogs. Because I believe you don't even have to say true friend. They're either a friend or they're not. Right? Because who wants a fake friend? Not this guy. So to the Rosses and the Robs and the Dannys and just the amazing to the Isaacs, to my big brother Joey, to my little brothers Nico and Miguel, to Enrico, to John and Mark, just the amazing family that I have. The people that have always been there. Even when I didn't know if they were there, they've been there. James. The friends that show up, right? You have a friend, you think there's something, then you think that and then they kind of went away and you think, they don't care about me, I don't matter to them. And then you make friends with somebody else and then you find out that you really didn't matter that much to that person, but the person that you were friends with before that you thought you didn't matter to, you do matter to. And after all these years, who would have thunk that one would be there and the other one would be gone? But that's the difference between a real friend and a fake friend. It's the difference between friendship and I'm just here for a little while, right? And sometimes when they say people are in your life for a season, sometimes that season's 12 years. Sometimes it's almost your whole life. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Sometimes it's a month. You know, some people are in your life for a season and they go away. Some people are there forever. You know, and the seasons, they change. But the forevers, they might change. Hopefully they evolve. But they stay. They stay. You know? Think of your real friends like the sun. The seasons change, but the sun's always shining. Think of your lesson friends and your lesson relationships in general like the seasons. The sun's always up there. God's always there. But sometimes people change like the season. Right? We don't know why they change or how they change or if they're ever going to change back. But I will tell you, as somebody who sees people change and waits for them to change back, I want to tell you something about that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't wait for people to change back. You know? Don't wait for people to change back. Because you end up waiting forever in a lot of instances. Oh, well, they changed, but they'll change back. They'll come back. They'll figure it out. Let them figure it out on their own. Because the reality of it all, what I've learned about life is the real ones, they stick around. The real ones are always meant to be yours. The real ones will find their way to you. And if they have to, they'll find their way back. The fake ones, they'll disappear and they'll keep on going. And you got to let them go. Don't worry about that. Can't tell you how many times I've cried and yelled over people that I should have been cheering, getting down on my knees, thanking God with confetti that they left. Oh my God. Woo! Thank you so much. That person walked out my life. Sometimes the best thing a person can ever do for you is walk out of your life. Because if you're somebody like me who gives people chances and opportunities and tries to understand things that we don't understand, sometimes we give maybe a few more chances than we should. But I can tell you this morning, my top dogs of the week are the people that always found their way back. They're the people that were always there. They're the people, we don't have perfect relationships. We've argued, we've disagreed, we've not talked, we have talked. But the real ones, they're here. The real ones showed up. The real ones weren't like, I'm going to be your friend if da-da-da-da-da-da stipulation. No. The real ones are the real ones. And the real ones, they freaking rock. So my top dogs of the week, if you're in my life, you know who you are. You know who my top dogs are. You know who those people are that I tell you I love you. If I tell you I love you, you're one of my top dogs. I love everybody. I love the world, past, present, and future. But if I love you, if I truly, like, I love everybody. God says love everybody. We're brothers and sisters in Christ. But in my life, if I tell you I love you, I text you I love you, I call you I love you, I hug you I love you, then you know you're part of that family. The family within the family. That family that is deeper, right? People say you got friends and then you have, like, you got your family, right? And some of your family is your friends. But it's like that inner circle, right? I know over 3,000 people. But how many people, do I believe could be in the house with me living day to day, doing it together, right? Living together, loving each other, being a team. Those are my people, and I love them dearly. So you know who you are, my top dogs, and above everything else, there's one top dog. His name is God. His name is Jesus. His name is the Holy Spirit. His name is Yahweh. His name is the King, the only King. My Lord is my top dog. My Lord is my top dog. Not LeBron James. It's not Michael Jordan. It's not Jameis. It's not Aaron Judge. It's not Derek Jeter. It's not Eric Dungy. It's not Donovan McNabb. I might like him. I might watch him. But my favorite, best friend, one above all, that has no substitute and no comparison, is the one who 37 years ago said, I've called you by name, and you are mine. Thanks, God, for believing in me. Thank you for continuing to believe in me, and thank you for giving me more chances than I deserve, and for forgiving me and loving me. I love you more than anything. Thank you for counting me amongst your children and allowing me to be your son. My top dog of the week. My God. And beneath that God, y'all know who you are. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. One of the best top dogs out there, Miss Lorraine. One of the nicest, sweetest people. You trust her with your dog, it's like trusting an angel. So God bless to all of them. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll come back with my guy Alex Dodd, longtime reporter and writer, joining me to talk Syracuse at Clemson. He's covered Clemson for many, many years. We'll talk about it right after this, inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, where sports meets life. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets life on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-through location, and of course in their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building. It looks like coffee being poured. You can't miss it, as the Welcome Center of Manlius is what I call it, on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, for Cafe Kubal. And if you're out of town like my guy that's here with us right now, Mr. Alex Dodd, well, you can go and find them on cafekubal.com. That's cafe, Kubal.com. Make sure you go out there, because if you're out in Rapid City, South Dakota, you need something to warm you up. So you need some Cafe Kubal, give you a little spark, give you a little caffeine, give you a little heat out in South Dakota. So with that being said, Alex Dodd, longtime reporter and writer, we met through our coverage, mutual coverage of the ACC. He has covered Clemson for a very long time and has recently, over these last few years, been with the ClemsonInsider.com. So he knows this Clemson team in and out, and Syracuse will be facing off against Clemson this weekend. So with that being said, I welcome proudly back to the show Mr. Alex Dodd. Alex, how you doing?
Doing great, Dan. It's good to be on the program on the birthday bash edition right here. Happy birthday, Dan. It's good to be on, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And when I texted you and I was like, do you want to be on the show on Friday? And you're like, to be on the birthday bash? Heck yeah. So you are on a very, we have people all throughout the week. We have fantastic lineups all year round, by the grace of God. And today, you're one of just a couple voices besides mine that's going to be on the show today. So I don't know what that means about our friendship, Dodd, but I let you kind of corner the market on the birthday bash. So I hope you appreciate that. I hope you like the fact that I let a Clemson lover inside to my birthday bash to have the special spotlight. But yeah, man, you're sharing my birthday show with me more than anybody else today.
I'm honored, Dan. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's get into Clemson. And, Dabo Swinney, a big fan. I know you are. I am. We're both men of faith, and so is he. He doesn't hide it. We don't either. I love that about him. I also respect and love the fact that he is one tremendous coach, and he has done an incredible job with Clemson, from being laughed at as being hired as the head coach after being the wide receivers coach. And when he said he would make them a competitor, that people laughed in his face as he kind of shared with all of us over these last couple of years. And now we see a multi-time national champion. Every time he gets an extension, he gets the extension of the extension a couple of years later. Clemson's not looking to let go of this man ever. So bring me into the Dabo Swinney factor. And if this season feels like other seasons, because I know Clemson's not getting at least the national respect that they typically get.
Yeah, I mean, I think from an outside perspective, it definitely feels like years past and what Clemson fans have become accustomed to, because of the way that Clemson started the season in really dominant fashion, but also because of what you're saying, the disrespect from the national media in particular. And it's become kind of a motif through the years, if you might say, just in terms of the national media not giving Clemson the credit that it deserves. I mean, you can't start it any better than 7-0, but there are a lot of people who don't really have Clemson in the mix for that Final Four spot still. I mean, there are people who were saying all week that there could be 3 SEC teams in the top 4, and how are you going to lead Ohio State and Michigan both out if they only, the only loss between the two of them is when they play? And
because they don't play anybody.
I'm with you, Dan, but that just seems to be the dominant narrative this week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I have said, and I say this all the time. I would say it about the SEC. I would say it about the ACC. I would say it about the Big Ten. It's not the conference. It's not the institution. I am not here witch hunting the Big Ten, and I'm not here witch hunting the Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State. I am using facts, which I know that a lot of people get frustrated with in today's America. I know that facts are something that scare a lot of people and make them want to go home and cry. But facts are the things you back up arguments with in order to state your case. And typically, facts are supposed to win out over crazy people. But in the AP and the coaches poll, Ohio State is second, and Michigan is fourth in the AP and third in the coaches poll. Why? I have no idea. Because, as we've stated here many times on the show, and we'll go back to it, Ohio State is playing 8 home games this year. Yep. 8 home games in their arena. Does that make sense? Of course it doesn't. Home, and at Michigan State. They have played a Notre Dame team that had no business being ranked in the top 5, if being ranked at all. and they were ranked 5. And like I told Dodd off the air, I was asked a question at the beginning of the season, who do you think is going to win Ohio State, Notre Dame, Dan? And I said the better question is, why is Notre Dame ranked 5? So Notre Dame, that to me that's a preseason ranking that shouldn't have been there. So you beat a team that's not ranked anymore, and then you beat 5 other unranked teams. You play 5 of 6 games at home. Now you get to play Iowa, who's not ranked, at Penn State, who's ranked for no reason, at Northwestern, who's unranked, Indiana at home, who's unranked, at Maryland, who's unranked, and then you play Michigan, that's supposed to be this big primetime game. Oh my gosh, right after Thanksgiving, November 26th, noon Eastern time, on Fox. 2 top 4 teams. Why? Nobody knows, because if it had anything to do with facts, it wouldn't happen, but it's not facts. It's the Big Ten narrative. The SEC puts in the work. The Big Ten must just have the right friends in the right places. Because if you take a look at Michigan's side of the schedule and what they've done to get to 7-0 and how they're highly touted, well, they beat an unranked Colorado State team at home, beat an unranked Hawaii team at home, beat an unranked independent UConn team at home, beat an unranked Maryland team at home. Then, oh my goodness, they went on the road for once, played at Iowa, beat them unranked, beat Indiana unranked on the road. Then they took down Penn State, who has no business being ranked either, and blew them out. They will play unranked Michigan State at home, unranked Rutgers on the road, unranked Nebraska at home, Illinois, who's actually put in some work this year, and they're one of the Big Ten teams that I think deserves your respect. They will play Illinois at home, Michigan will, and then they'll play that garbage game at Ohio State that we're supposed to believe is important, which it's not. So, I mean, this happened last year, and the thing, Alex, that I struggle with is that I prognosticated and predicted what the College Football Playoff Committee was going to do because you could read their cards, and I said, Ohio State is currently in the College Football Playoff. In the next 3 weeks, the last 3 weeks of the season, Michigan and Michigan State have to play Ohio State. If one of these teams beats Ohio State and beats the other 2 teams and goes 3-0 in their last 3 games with a win over Ohio State, they will take the spot of Ohio State in the College Football Playoff because the College Football Playoff will put a Big Ten team in. Michigan beat Ohio State, went 3-0 in their last 3 games, and took their spot. So I shouldn't be able to say that because it shouldn't be like that there was a Big Ten holder spot. Because what the College Football Playoff should essentially say is we have 2 spots for the SEC, 1 spot for the Big Ten, and 1 spot for Clemson when we think they're good enough. That's what they should be saying because that's what the truth is. I know I put a lot of meat in this sandwich, but I'd love to get your thoughts about Ohio State and Michigan and how they've beaten the hell out of no one, yet Syracuse fans are yelling at me that we played Wagner.
No, I'm 100% with you, Dan. I mean, I've never been super big, and the playoff committee has done, I feel like, a really good job of this, of not punishing people for playing their schedule. But there comes a point in time where, they've got to say, hey, you got to play somebody. Yeah. And that's the thing that Ohio State and Michigan really haven't done to this point. I know Penn State's ranked and whatever, but Michigan still got to play them at home. Both of those teams are just playing kind of a laughable home slate until they play each other. And one other thing I don't really understand is why national media in particular always elevate the Big Ten above the ACC in football. I mean, for crying out loud, the Big Ten's won national championships since 2014 when Ohio State won it, and the ACC's played in 5 and won 3, and that includes Florida State. So, it's kind of doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense for the Big Ten to get the credit that it does and to be elevated above every other league. I don't know why the Big Ten gets more credit than the Big 12 or the ACC, but that's kind of the world that we're living in, and that problem will work itself out because Ohio State and Michigan do have to play each other, and if people like me think Michigan is as much of a fraud as they've seemed like to this point, then that should be found out in that big rivalry game at the end of the regular season. But yeah, it is mind blowing to see Michigan and Ohio State get the credit that they have gotten for really not playing anybody to this point in the year.
Longtime reporter and writer Alex Dodd joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and our special birthday edition here on my 37th birthday on Friday, October 21st. Looking at everything you said, and I agree with it, and I agree with it wholeheartedly because it's true that the ACC has backed itself up. By the way, the American Athletic Conference is a conference that I've covered since before they even had a logo and a name. They have played in recent years the quote-unquote Power Five. They have played Oklahoma State, almost taken them down. Oklahoma, almost taken them down. Beaten UCLA. They've played these big-time games. They have beaten the Baylors. They have beaten the TCUs. So there's been all of these moments with the American Athletic. This is what I find funny. The Big Ten non-conference schedule is a laughable joke, yet the American Athletic Conference in recent history, and I know UCLA is better now, they've been playing UCLA the last few years and beating them. So and there was nothing that was stated that UCLA was going to make a coaching change and be this good. So I look back on this and I say to myself, the American Athletics non-conference strength of schedule is better than the Big Ten. Not even just talking the ACC. The ACC will challenge itself. The American Athletic will challenge itself. The Sun Belt will challenge itself, but the Big Ten doesn't have to. And the funny thing about this, and it's interesting, Jim Boeheim echoed my sentiments on the Big Ten, but he did it on the basketball front. He said, when you beat up on each other but you can't win nationally, your conference sucks. And he was right. And he was talking about basketball last year. He's like, you got all these Big Ten teams. We got 9 Big Ten teams in the NCAA tournament. And what happened? You know, who came at the end of it? And how many games did the ACC win? And he said ACC went 14-5 in the Division I NCAA tournament for men's basketball last year, or this past season. And he said, who else had that good of a record? Nobody. So you look at it and say the Big Ten gets preferential treatment in the tournament. They get preferential treatment in the college football playoff. But just because you beat up on each other doesn't mean you're good. And I think that everybody found out, you know, I never said, and I can honestly say this, look at the camera in the eye and tell it to everybody's heart around the world and tell the aliens up in space that are circling this beautiful, wonderful spinning rock that we have and watching this. I never said that last year was a weak year for the ACC. I never once came out of my mouth did I say the ACC is having a down year, a weak year, a boring year, a non-competitive year, and they proved that. And a lot of people were saying that, and they pushed the narrative and pushed the narrative. I don't like this whole perception is reality, Dodd, because I thought winning was reality. I thought doing what you're supposed to do is reality. I thought beating the teams in front of you was reality. I never thought perception is reality, because if we're basing things on the past and we're basing things on, I mean, Notre Dame, Rudy was a great movie. Notre Dame used to have good quarterbacks. Notre Dame used to be relevant. Touchdown Jesus used to see more touchdowns, but that doesn't happen anymore. Also, Syracuse had Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, and Floyd Little. Syracuse had Joe Morris. Syracuse had Art Monk. Syracuse had Gary Anderson, one of the greatest kickers in NFL history. Syracuse had so much. So if we're talking about history, Syracuse should be a top 5 team. If we're talking about history and just history, then the only team in the Big Ten, then Penn State should be up there. But the reality of it all is we're not talking about 2021, 1989, 1952. We're talking about 2022. And in 2022, Ohio State and Michigan have played this little, like, you know, tip it in schedule type of thing. It's like everybody's on the tee hitting the ball from 510 yards away, and Ohio State and Michigan are putting it in from an inch. It's not fair, and it's not right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, and all these things will sort themselves out like they have for, you know, in this playoff era. All of these issues. If you feel like a team hadn't played anybody and that they're not worthy of their ranking, that thing gets found out real quick when you put the top 4 teams in a little bracket and make them play each other. So it will get sorted out, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the Big Ten. You know, if you know, and I'm not saying that Ohio State, Michigan couldn't find themselves being a top 4 football team by the end of the season. I mean, you never know we're at the midway point right now, and you never know what's going to happen when you get to week 14. But to this point, it is frustrating to see those two teams get the credit that they have when they haven't played a difficult schedule, and they haven't gone and beaten anybody in the non-conference. And meanwhile, you got, Clemson's got, 2 wins over ranked teams, including one over a really good Wake Forest team on the road that's in the top 15. And you got Syracuse, who's got a top 25 win at home over NC State, and people would rather laugh at those 2 ACC schools than come at the Big Ten or come at Ohio State, Michigan for who they haven't played.
Yeah, and we'll see. And like you said, it sorts itself out eventually. But I want to credit TCU because they've had a tougher road to 6-0. I also want to credit UCLA, who's been a long time that they could say they were undefeated, and they're at 6-0. And I want to really give a lot of credit for beating 3 teams in a row that are ranked in the nation's top 25, including Alabama, and that being Tennessee. And Tennessee, to me, listen, they defeated Pitt, who's a tough out, and they defeated Pitt on the road after losing to Pitt last year. They defeated Alabama. They defeated LSU. They defeated Florida. I understand LSU's not as high as it used to be. I understand Florida's struggling. But at the same time, you're playing inside of the SEC. You're playing that caliber that has proven itself, and you beat Alabama. And that, to me, if they did nothing else but beat Alabama and win out or have one loss, Tennessee, to me, if they are a no-loss or one-loss team with a win over Alabama, they're a college football playoff team. Because what they did is what is seldomly done. It's why I put Texas A&M in a couple of years ago, and Jimbo Fisher flipped out when he wasn't in, and I flipped out for him because they deserved to be in there. But they weren't put in there. Why? Because someone had to put in Grandpa's Notre Dame. So or great Grandpa's Notre Dame, I guess we would say. But Tennessee right now, Georgia, Clemson, arguably Alabama, TCU, there's teams that have a right to the keys right now, and it's going to be interesting to see what essentially happens from here. Like you said, seeing Clemson defeat NC State, Wake Forest, both ranked teams. Syracuse beat NC State when they were 15 in the AP and 13 in the coaches poll. So, you got to win against the teams that are in front of you. They've done exactly that. And I love that people are like, yeah, Syracuse is a 6-0, but it's a weak 6-0. Don't ever talk to me about anything in the Big Ten if you're going to say that about Syracuse. So let's get into the Syracuse-Clemson game. I know you spent a lot of time with Clemson. I know you know Death Valley very well. I know that you also know that this is the game after my birthday, the day after my birthday. So I know that it's going to be a sea of orange. Syracuse has gone down to Death Valley. The first time they ever went there, the offenses were both atrocious, and Clemson got out alive 16-6. And then from there, that was in 2014. In 2013, they came to the Dome and handled business very well. Since then, Syracuse got a win over Clemson when Clemson was the reigning national champion in the college football playoff and ranked second in the country when they came to the Dome. Syracuse has also gone to Clemson and put a hurting on them, but did not finish the game, and Clemson was able to get the victory. Also, Trevor Lawrence gave up his first ever college career pick 6 to the Syracuse Orange in Death Valley. So there's been some really good games that have been played against these two teams, some really good games that have been played in Death Valley, and Syracuse has knocked off Clemson when they were, dare I say it, better and ranked higher. So, Mr. Dodd, what do you see with the Syracuse Orange rolling into Death Valley this weekend?
Well, for starters, you got 2 very efficient offenses that are going to be squaring off on the field on Saturday. And you got 2 good defenses as well. So I think it should be a fun football game. I'm excited to watch it. I know a lot of Syracuse and Clemson fans are excited for it too. And it's a matchup that should be getting more credit than it is. ESPN came out with an article this week talking about the best games in college football this weekend and didn't have it listed, which is beyond me. But these are 2 really good football teams that are playing a great game right now and have some big wins in conference, and they're playing for the rights to the crown in the Atlantic Division. Whoever wins this is going to be in the driver's seat with a good chance to take home the crown. And you're talking about Clemson's recent success. Syracuse has got the chance to go into the Valley and kick the landlord in the face and take those keys that you're talking about. So there's a lot on the line in the ACC and the Atlantic Division and nationally in this game. So I'm excited for it because of all those implications as well.
Yeah, and it's funny because who are the only conferences in America in Division I-A FBS to have multiple undefeated teams? The SEC, the ACC, and the Big Ten. Now, the Big Ten has gotten respect for it. The SEC has gotten respect for it. The ACC has not. You look at, now put it to you like this, there's nine teams of over 130 in Division I-A FBS that are unranked heading into week number 8. There are 9 teams in the nation that are undefeated. 9 teams that are undefeated at this point. 8 of those 9 teams are in the nation's top 10 in rankings. Syracuse is the only one that's not. Syracuse has above them Wake Forest, who has a loss in their same conference, USC, who has a loss, Oklahoma State, who has a loss, Oregon, who has a loss, are all above Syracuse, the difference between 10 and spot 14. Now, I don't know, but I thought that if you have a loss, you should probably be below that, and everybody else is above that, including Alabama, who's 6-1. And I'm not trying to say Syracuse is better than Alabama by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just bringing to note that 8 of 9 teams that are undefeated are in the nation's top 10 in rankings. There's only one that's not, at Syracuse. And looking at this, saying the SEC, the Big Ten, and the ACC are the only ones that have multiple teams still undefeated should be of note, should be worthy, because Clemson, Syracuse, 8 weeks into the season, as the only undefeated teams in the ACC and 2 of 9 in the country, I would think that's a prime time matchup, and I would think that that had massive implications. And in other years, we would have been talking about, wow, if Clemson loses this game, can they get in the college football playoff? But for some reason this year, we're talking about, is Clemson going to be in it even if they win this game?
Yeah, it is a super weird narrative. Hey, I'm always for a nationally televised football game, but it is interesting to see this one televised at noon instead of being a night game in the Valley. But I just, the more I look at this game, the more excited I get for it, because I feel like there are things on both sides that are going to be matchup headaches for the opposing defense, particularly with these offenses. I mean, you look at, what more can you say about Sean Tucker and what he's been able to do over the last several years at Syracuse? I mean, the guy's an NFL caliber running back and just continues to prove that week in and week out. And, Clemson's defense has all the talent in the world, and people talked about it all offseason, and they've got to go prove it against a good running back this week. They had some struggles against Florida State's backs last week, and if you thought those guys were a matchup nightmare, then wait till they line up against Sean Tucker. But people should be excited about this matchup, and I don't understand why they're not on the national level, but I know people on the local level in Syracuse and Clemson are excited for it, and there's a reason for it. It's because it ought to be a heck of a matchup.
Yeah, and it's going to be awesome here. Very excited about it. Very excited what's coming up here. Your biggest strengths for both teams and biggest weaknesses for both teams?
Yeah, I think these two teams, in a lot of ways, are kind of mirror images of each other in what they want to do. Now, the way they do it is a little bit different, but both teams rely on the running game as the central part of their offense. Clemson with Will Shipley and DJ as a dual threat quarterback have been essential to Clemson's running game. DJ's had a great year running the football. Will Shipley's got 567 yards and 8 touchdowns this year, and a lot of the reason why that number may even be smaller is because of the short fields they get on offense, because of the way they've been able to play on special teams. I really think this is a complete Clemson football team. They look great on special teams. They look great on offense. They look really good on defense. And then, Syracuse, kind of the same strengths. Garrett Schrader's been extremely efficient at quarterback, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. You got Sean Tucker with 644 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. It's just an incredibly efficient offense. That's what Clemson prides itself on. That's what Syracuse prides itself on. In the red zone, Clemson's 35 of 35 in red zone scoring this season, and you can't do any better than that. So there are a lot of things about this matchup that are intriguing. I think the key to the game and this is the key to every football game, is who's going to win the rushing battle, and whichever team wins that battle is probably going to be the one that wins the football game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here, and you bring it up and you say, Clemson's 35 of 35 in the red zone. Well, I'll throw this at you. Syracuse is on paper 26 of 28, but the two that they're not, they knelt down in the red zone against Wagner when they were winning 59-0. So that should not count as against them. So I take that one out because that's some miscellaneous BS. And then the other one is where clearly the defensive lineman on NC State moved. I caught it on my camera. He moved before the snap. Schrader saw it. Schrader saw the official put his hand in his pocket, and so they thought they had a free play, and that's when he threw the interception in the red zone. So those two crazy type of situations where there was a flag that didn't come out that probably should have come out, and then a kneel down. Beyond that, Syracuse is 100% in the red zone as well. The majority of those are touchdowns, 17 touchdowns, 9 field goals. So you got two teams that are right around 100% in the red zone. You got two teams that score at least 36 points per game. You have a team in Clemson that's +6 in turnovers. You have Syracuse that's +5. You have two teams that are putting the yardage up there. Syracuse scoring bringing in over 400 yards per game. You have two teams that their second best running back is their quarterback, and their running backs are extremely efficient, and Will Shipley for Clemson and Sean Tucker for Syracuse, who is now looking to become number 5 all-time on the career rushing list for the Syracuse Orange top 5. He's number 6 right now at 2,766 yards, and he's done that in less than mathematically like a full 2. You look at it, he played 9 games, then he played 12, so he had 21 coming into this season. He's played 6 so far, so he's played 27 games. So that's the equivalent of 2 seasons and 3 games. So not even 3 seasons has he gotten 2,766 yards.
That is a heck of a list to be on, to be in that top 5 in Syracuse in career rushing. I mean, you're talking some of the all-time greats in college football, in professional football, in American football that are on that list. So that's a heck of a list for Sean Tucker to be on too, and he deserves it. I mean, he has played to that tune in his career at Syracuse. And one thing I want to shout out too about these two teams is the way that the offensive coordinators and head coaches made adjustments to their offense in the off. And Clemson struggled offensively last season, and Syracuse wasn't pretty either offensively at a lot of times last year. But both of these coaches have tailored a system to the personnel they have. Clemson, with DJ losing weight was a big part of it, but making the offense go through the quarterback run with DJ Uiagalelei has been a huge key for Clemson and Syracuse. Mixing up looks, putting Schrader in the shotgun, allowing him to use his feet to make plays. I mean, people think of Sean Tucker as a north-south running back, but they've run a lot of zone read, a lot of zone rushing concepts with Sean Tucker this year, and he's made the most of it and been able to find the cutback lanes and get north and south from more of an east-west scheme. The way that both teams have tailored their offense, their personnel this year, is the key to their success. Is the reason that they're both undefeated coming into this matchup.
And a great point. And they've done, I mean, these coordinators stepping up. I mean, I spoke with Dabo Sweeney about hiring from within, and I'll never forget what he said. He said, if you don't promote from within to people that deserve the job, you kill your culture. And because he was questioned, why aren't you going for the big name? Why aren't you doing this, that, and whatever? You got to remember, you're saying that to a coach who was the wide receiver coach that was made the head coach. So you're saying to a coach, you shouldn't promote from within, when the whole reason why he's the coach is because they promoted from within, and he wasn't even a coordinator to go up there. So you're saying to Dabo, hey, do the thing that wasn't done for you, or don't do the thing that was done for you. And so, I applaud what he did. I loved his answer to my question because he defended his guys, and they're undefeated, so shout out to them. And then Tony White has been the defensive genius that has come into Syracuse, thank goodness, because it was a you-know-what show before that. And Robert and I's got the offense going, and Coach Bob Ligashevsky's got the special teams unit going. So, I mean, with all due respect, people said to me, Dan, how did Dino get better this year? I said he hired the right coordinators, because a good coach understands that you need three potentially going to be someday head coaches underneath you to handle the business, because it can't just be you, and you have to make sure that you have the right people in the right place. He got the right defensive coordinator. Now it looks like he has the right offensive coordinator and the right special teams coordinator. I'd like to see a couple more seasons of consistency, but right now it looks like it's a good thing, and it's been great. So I got to ask you, Dodd, while I got you on the phone here, give me a prediction.
Well, here's the biggest factor in my prediction.
Okay.
And the biggest number.
Is it my birthday? Is that what it is?
It could be, but it's not for me this week. The biggest number for me coming into the game is 37. And I think after some comments this week, Syracuse fans are very aware of Clemson's 37-game home winning streak at Memorial Stadium, dating all the way back to that Pittsburgh game in 2016. But Clemson, there's a reason that Clemson has won 37 straight games in Death Valley. It's because it's a tough place to play. It's because the fans get up for it. It's because winning at home has been a big pillar of the Dabo Swinney era at Clemson, and dominating the home field. That's the biggest factor for me coming into it. But it also goes a little bit to a point of some comments that were made by a Syracuse defensive back this week, and that is I lost my little notes page. But the Syracuse defensive back this week that said, I feel bad for him because we're definitely going to spoil that this week. I don't know that I would have said that if I was Deuce Chestnut going into this game. I think that's probably something that's going to be plastered all over the locker room and may play a factor in this game, because, I mean, those are the things that Dabo Swinney loves, are putting those billboard quotes up and chirping to his players about what other people are saying. So that's my biggest factor going into it. And because of the home win streak and because of the implications of the game in the ACC Atlantic, I'm gonna take Clemson. I don't know that I'm gonna go with the points, because I think 14 is a really big spread for this game.
Yeah.
But I'll take Clemson with a 10-point win in Death Valley. But it's going to be a close game for the majority of the way. I don't think by any means that Clemson's just going to come out and roll, but I got Clemson winning by 10 against Syracuse in the Valley on a crisp fall afternoon in South Carolina.
All right, well, you said something, and it's ironic. Are you ready for this? So you said your magic number is 37. Well, and I said, oh, does it have to do with my birthday? It does. 37 game winning streak for Clemson at home. I just turned 37 at 8:37 in the morning. So,
oh man, 37 is all over the place. I don't know, maybe this is playing more towards DT's favor.
so you say 37's a magic number, and I say on my 37th birthday, Syracuse, it's time to beat a 37-game streak on my 37th birthday, celebrating being born at 8:37 a.m. So you pick Clemson. I think 14's insane too. So you pick Clemson, and you're going to say by 10. I'm going to say Syracuse on the road by 3.
There you go. Yeah, I think the 10, I'm not saying that Clemson's going to just be dominating the whole game. I think it's more of like a fourth quarter touchdown. You know, Clemson prides itself on the middle 8 minutes of football games, the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. I can see Clemson extending their lead to 10 in that time frame and holding on to it. They haven't been able to close games as well as they've wanted to, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. So I think Clemson wins by 10, but if you're watching the football game, it's not going to feel like a 2-score game. It's going to feel like Syracuse is right there in the mix. But I like your pick, DT. Got to go on the road and shock the nation. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So
yeah. Or if you want to be called the best, you just got to be in the Big Ten. So
yeah, or you can just play nobody and play every game at home. I mean, that works too.
Very true. So 37 is the magic number. I turned 37 this year. I know God always comes to me in numbers, so I can't sit here and think that it's a fluke. As always, I appreciate you, Mr. Dodd. I'm excited about the game. I know it's going to be great no matter what. I'll be texting you during the game, and I'll be anxiously awaiting my birthday gift from you at home, like Ohio State and Michigan have been for so long.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on the show today.
All right, take care. See you later. That coming from Alex Dodd here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Here where sports meets life. Do you like that? I'll be waiting for my gift at home, where Ohio State and Michigan have been all year. Did you catch it? I hope you did. Did you catch what I was throwing in? Did you get it? So we're going to take a step. Did you get it, though? We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back for Aubry and DT Get Witty. I'm about to unleash to you an all-new segment exclusive to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora entitled Aubry and DT Get Witty. The owner of Witty Wicks and I will be joining each other every single month to showcase a product or products at Witty Wicks while spreading some laugh and cheer. So, with that being said, we get witty right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal Studios.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you fall 2022. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It is time for me to unveil the newest segment on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora called Aubry and DT Get Witty. Enjoy. Hey everyone, this is the first episode, the inaugural episode of Aubry and DT Get Witty.
Oh yeah, I hope you're ready.
So we're here with Aubry of Witty Wicks, myself, DT of Wake Up Call. We have the Autumn Infused Candle. It's unlit. We're going to talk about it unlit because product is very important here at the store, and they don't want to run out of these Autumn Infused candles.
Listen, Autumn Infused is a hot commodity. If I burned one just for this, Aaron would kill me.
Picture it. Picture that there's a light. Maybe we can put it in and
Picture
post.
it. Sicily.
Yeah.
1925. No, sorry.
You probably don't even understand that reference, do you?
What, Sicily 1925?
Yeah.
I wasn't born then.
It's the Golden Girls reference.
I love Golden Girls.
Clearly you don't. You would have recognized that reference.
Can we admit that Blanche was the hottest one? Is she the one that wore the satin robes?
Yes.
And it's Blanche. Yeah. There's nobody hotter than Blanche.
All right, well, that's good to know. So our Autumn Infused candle is the perfect mix of pumpkin, caramel, butter, and orange. Why do we put orange in our Cuse candles? Why do you think?
Because Syracuse, in the words of Aubrey, is doing pretty good.
Well, though you said they were...
They're 6-0.
Yeah.
They're undefeated.
I heard that. It's pretty great.
Undefeated team here, and the Autumn Infused candle with the orange in it smells incredible. And if you put all those ingredients together, I don't know what it is, but it smells just like Blanche. So come out to Witty Wicks, 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, and come get your Autumn Infused candle. And of course, know that exclusively to Wake Up Call, you'll be here with Aubry and DT Get Witty.
Oh, we're witty, all right.
Coming once again from Aubrey and I, and yeah, I mean, and I have the Autumn Infused candle lit in the studio. It's lit here now, so smells beautiful, and yeah, it smells like 6-0. Maybe smells like 7-0. We shall see. And it also smells like Blanche. I'm going to stick with that. So Blanche has a beautiful smell, and she will always be the hottest Golden Girl, and I'll stick by that. This has been Aubry and DT Get Witty. Stay tuned for more. You never know what's going to come out of either one of our mouths, so I'm excited for the excitement that's going to ensue. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. On Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT. You can also go to Facebook.com / LiveNowDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. With that being said, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora can also be found on all of your favorite outlets, and most of these are on your CarPlay. So make sure that you utilize these services. They're free. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube, as well as others. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and you can listen and watch from your favorite platform. You can also ask Alexa to play the latest episode, and Google your Google Home devices to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they'll do that for you as well. Thank you to all of our partners, including Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Mother's Cupboard, and of course we are proud to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Always proud to be hanging out with the Dolphins here where sports meets that thing called life. You can have the Dolphins every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll be hanging out with the Dolphins here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And, of course, every first and third Wednesday of each month is AD and DT. Every second and fourth Wednesday, Dolphin Dive. And so AD and DT bringing you my conversations with Athletics Director Bob Beretta with topics all throughout the year. And, of course, we are very honored and very privileged to be the exclusive home for the entire chronicling of realignment and reclassification. Anything that has come out from Lemoyne when it comes to realignment and reclassification has been spoken about here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Athletics Director Bob Beretta, as well as the president, Dr. Linda Lemira of Lemoyne College. So make sure that you come here and tune in to all of that. And the second and fourth Wednesday being the Dolphin Dive, we dive into the stories of all of the incredible people. We get to talk with coaches as well as student athletes, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni in our Dolphin Dive episodes. And we have a double dose of the Dolphin Dive. So double dose Dolphin Dive, 4 Ds, put it all together, D cubed, and be ready for that. D, not cubed, it's D more than cubed, it's D quad, whatever that's called. So make sure you check that out. It's been a long time since I took math. So check those out on the Lemoyne tab of wakeupcalldt.com. Get all of our Lemoyne content as well on youtube.com by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And for more information on your Dolphins, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. And I'll see you tomorrow, Saturday, October 22nd, for the Fall Fins Frenzy with Carvel DeWitt, PB&J's Lunchbox, contest, autograph opportunities, and so many great things going around surrounding a doubleheader of women's and men's soccer at Lemoyne. The women kick off at 11 o'clock, the men at 2 o'clock, both of them with potential postseason implications, so you definitely don't want to miss either one of those games or the entire Fall Fins Frenzy extravaganza put on by the wonderful people at Lemoyne, including Bob Beretta, who put a lot of work into this, and the entire athletic department. We thank them for all of that. We'll see you out there on Saturday, October 22nd. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton Bobcats. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with us bringing you stories from the PTA program recently here with physical therapist assistant. They have 100% job placement right now, and you can get your degree in 2 years or less right here in Syracuse, New York on James Street at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Definitely don't want to miss out on that opportunity, especially if you're looking to do something else and come back to school for a little bit. Head out to Bryan and Stratton, Syracuse, get more information on the PTA program. We've also spoken with the reigning national champion men's soccer team, who's ranked in the top 3 in the nation right now, the reigning women's soccer program that is ranked in the top 3 of the nation right now as well, the men's basketball program and new head coach Clay Gagan-Sherman, the women's basketball program and new head coach Tay Baker, and for the first time ever, the baseball program that is coming into fruition at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse with first time ever inaugural, incredible, historical head coach Sean Peak and his inaugural, incredible, historical, and amazing personalities on their roster for their student athletes. So check all that out by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com. Subscribe to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And for more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I hope you have a fantastic Friday and a great weekend. I picked Syracuse to win by 3. 37 years old, born at 8:37, trying to beat a 37-game winning streak by Clemson. Seems to be the right time to do it by the numbers, and we shall see. So thanks to Alex Dodd. Thank you to Carvel for the annoying moment of the week, Carvel DeWitt. Thank you to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, speaking on appreciating and understanding that every moment is only here once. Shout out to Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, the best place to bring your dogs, and for the top dog of the week, which above all is my God, and to all of the wonderful people that have always been in my corner. Alex Dodd bringing us Syracuse at Clemson from the great state of South Dakota. Big shout out to Dodd, and thank you for joining the show. And of course, for the first time ever, our new segment, Aubry and DT Get Witty, bringing you Witty Wicks to your doorstep, letting you know the products that they have, and of course, bringing some comedy with it as always. And you can go out to Witty Wicks on 190 Township Boulevard today in Camillus, New York, and get yourself the Autumn in Cuse candle that we just talked about in our first episode, our inaugural episode of Aubry and DT Get Witty. It's right here in the studio, smelling like 6-0 and smelling like Blanche. So thank you to everybody that heads out to Witty Wicks. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. The opinions that I have here are my own. I am passionate about everyone's life mattering and everybody being a child of God and no one being voiceless and no one being left behind. And with all that being said, I respect that we're different. I respect that other people have different opinions than I do, and I welcome everybody to this show, be it the same opinion or a different opinion. Please understand, if you are a negative jerk, I probably will not respond to you. But everybody else who does two things, justifies their opinion and is respectful, I'm happy to talk with you even if we disagree. So God bless you all and thank you for all you do. God bless, no stress, do your best. This has been a Wake Up Call birthday edition, and I am so honored and pleased to be here on Friday, October 21st. I looked at my phone at 10:21 on 10:21, and I am very happy to have this 37th year here with you. So God bless you all. Please stay safe. I love you all, and I know I'm going to have a great birthday.